It might surprise you to learn that the gambling capital of the world isn't Las Vegas, but Macau. Macau has gambling revenue approaching $2 billion per year. On the 16th of July 2017, 4 high rollers arrived in the city on a special gambling trip, and after touring several of the 49 casinos in the city, they were taken to a special VIP room. No one expected that in the early hours of the next morning, the gambling trip would end with a police raid. I'm C, and this is Scams, Hacks and Frauds. Gambling and organised crime go hand in hand, from the fantasies of James Bond's villains to the reality of the mob history of Vegas, and Macau is no different. You'll find everything from fake beggars asking for money for the bus to fake investment scams. But a fake casino, that's something we only see in cinemas, right? But one criminal gang, 15 men and 4 women, managed to do just that. They would call potential gamblers and encourage them to visit Macau, just as real casinos try to attract high rollers. Once they arrived, they'd be met by the gang, set up with hotel rooms and given a tour of some of the city's 49 casinos, ending the night in a special VIP-only room. Within the room, players would find high-stakes staples like baccarat, made famous of course in Casino Royale. They'd also find over 70 million Hong Kong dollars in chips, dealers, security guards and managers working to care for every apparent whim of the gamblers. A metal detector at the door added to the illusion. But the shuffles were faked, the drinks were spiked, and the games rigged from the start. The room was just a hotel room, rented by the gang and dressed up to be a VIP room. And this scam just didn't happen once or twice. This gang was in circulation for 2 years. And the scam would have continued had not one of the previous victims been told by his friends that the room in question was not a VIP room. It's that report that led to the raid. Okay, you might be wondering why I'm bringing this up. I'm certainly not being invited to any gambling rooms, and I imagine most of you aren't either. So you might be thinking there's nothing we can learn here. But let's start with the fact that this had continued for 2 years, until one victim had the bravery to report this to the police. I imagine much of the reason that this was able to continue for 2 years was simply out of embarrassment. If people realised they'd been duped, then the large figures they'd lost had probably encouraged them to keep quiet. Sharing stories is, I think, the single best thing that we can do to help people from becoming victims in the first place. And that includes reporting it to the police. So please, no matter how embarrassing it might be, please make sure you're talking to the police, and ideally anyone else who'll listen. Bringing this story back into the world of the rest of us, we're all at risk of potential impersonation scams. One common example is phone calls from your bank, and these can be quite sophisticated. On March 18, 2023, an Australian man, Tim Watkins, received a message from his bank's phone number warning him that his account had been used to purchase $850 Australian worth of gift cards on Amazon. He responded to the challenge and called the phone number as directed. This results in a number of one-time codes being sent to his phone, with Tim being asked to read out each code as it arrived. Those codes allowed fraudsters to remove funds from his bank account, and in about 10 minutes, over 100,000 Australian dollars was gone. This type of impersonation is called spoofing, and it's not just done for text messages, but phone calls and emails. Scammers have been known to monitor email addresses of people buying homes, slipping in an email from lawyers or brokers claiming payments now need to be made to a new account, intercepting payments and destroying dreams. When you receive any sort of unexpected contact, it's essential to verify that you're talking to who you think you are. Call your bank or whoever seems to be calling you on a known good phone number. If you've received a request for payment by email, don't just pay it. Check the payment details on a known good contact method, a different one from where you got the bank details, like a phone number, and consider starting with a test payment of a small amount, and only pay the full amount when it's been confirmed as received directly, by voice, especially for large amounts. This isn't just good for scams, but it's also good for those of us with thick fingers. I've been C, and this has been Scams, Hacks and Frauds. If you've liked the show or found it useful, please share it with everyone you can. As I said before, the best protection we have against being scammed ourselves is sharing stories, so that when the scammers come to us, we can stop it before it begins. This podcast is available for reuse under the Creative Commons with Attributions Share-alike license. The music is not included in this license. For more information on the Creative Commons license, please visit creativecommons.org.